All right, here is video number 3 for our Build an Atom project, the packet, question number 14. In the 2 previous videos, I helped explain a lot of what was on this board right now. I haven't changed anything since the end of the second video. Let me just remind you of a couple of things. Number 1, the atomic number column tells you the number of protons in the atom. The atomic number is a unique number for every element, and it tells you how many protons are in the nucleus of the atom. The mass number column, this column here, tells us the combined number of protons plus neutrons. So what we're going to do in this video is we're going to go through a few examples. We're going to start with that concept, that idea, that notion, and we're going to build on that from there. I'm not going to show all the answers. There's going to be a 4th video where I'll have the board complete and we'll talk about a few of the things. But in this 3rd video, I'm just going to move forward from where we were. I'm going to focus on atomic number and mass number, protons, and neutrons first. I'll also talk a little bit about charge and the electrons. Okay? All right, here we go. So, atomic number, unique for any element. You can look up on the periodic table if you know the name of the element or if you know the symbol of the element. You can look up on the periodic table and find the atomic number. Conversely, or working backwards, if you know the atomic number, you can figure out the name and the symbol of the element. So let's start with that part that I just said. If you look at your periodic table right now and find which element has an atomic number of 8, all right, if you look for the atomic number of 8 on your periodic table, you will see that it is oxygen. And oxygen has the symbol O. If you look on your periodic table right now and you look for the atomic number 4, you will see that the atomic number 4 is beryllium. Okay. And that has a symbol Be. So look on the periodic table, find the atomic number. Remember, they're in order. They start in the upper left, they go across to the right, and then they go down a column, a row, and then they go across to the right again. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then it starts over again at 11, 12, 13, 14, and across, okay? So look for the atomic number and you'll find the name and the symbol. I'm going to stop there for that one right now. You can go backwards from that. And like, for instance, up here with hydrogen, we already know its atomic number is 1. So I'm going to put that in there. Carbon, C, if you look at your periodic table, we already know anything with carbon is a 6. So we can fill that in there. Okay? All right, the next thing I'm going to talk about is neutrons and mass number. Because I know some things now. I filled in some things that can tell me some more things. All right. For instance, I know that mass number is the combined number of protons and neutrons. So if I know there are 7 protons and 8 neutrons in an element, I can write in a 15 right there. Okay. So the mass number, whatever this is, and I didn't tell you that, you're going to look it up on the periodic table. But whatever it is, it has a mass number of 15. Okay? Oxygen has an atomic number of 8, which means it has 8 protons. And it has 8 neutrons. At least this isotope does. This oxygen does. So 8 plus 8 is 16. Now, the cool thing is I can go the other way. Because again, atomic number plus neutrons tells me mass number. But I can go backwards. Mass number minus atomic number tells me neutrons. Because if the only 2 things that make up the mass number are the protons, the atomic number, and the neutrons, then these 2 columns have to add up to this one. So if my mass number is 9 and 4 of them are protons, how many neutrons do there have to be? I got 4 protons. 4 plus what equals 9? And of course, the answer is 5. There must be 5 neutrons. Okay? So 4 plus 5 is 9. 7 plus 8 is 15. 8 plus 8 is 16. There's a pattern here, right? I'm going to do one more, and I'm going to give you a chance to think about it before I tell you the answer. The mass number for this magnesium is 25. There are 12 protons in all magnesiums. Magnesium has an atomic number of 12. So 12 plus what, how many neutrons, is going to give you a mass number of 25. 12 plus what is 25? Think about it. Don't be afraid to guess to yourself. No one else will know. 12 protons plus 13 neutrons is a mass number of 25. Okay? All right, I'm going to let you work on some more of these. There's a couple more examples I want to do about charge, because that's the one thing we haven't talked about a little bit. We talked just a little bit about it with the magnesium, all right, earlier, but I want to do a couple more of these. I want to remind you that the charge for an atom is usually balanced. You usually have the same number of protons as electrons, or in other words, the atomic number tells you the number of protons. You usually have the same number of electrons. If you do, your charge is 0. And here's an example. The first one at the top, the one you were given the answers for. Hydrogen has an atomic number of 1. If you look at your periodic table, you can see that hydrogen has an atomic number of 1. That means all hydrogen atoms have 1 proton. Now, this hydrogen atom also has 1 electron. This is the electron column. This hydrogen atom also has 1 electron. So if it has 1 proton and 1 electron, those balance out to a charge of 0. Now in this column, magnesium always has 12 protons. But this magnesium has 13 electrons, which is unusual. We call that an ion. When the electrons and protons don't balance out, we call it an ion. And in this case, since there's 1 more electron than protons, it has a negative charge. And since there's only 1 more, it's a -1. That's why we put that -1 here. When they were balanced, it was 0. Okay? So let's look at this magnesium, the one right above it. 12 protons, 12 electrons. The charge on that would be, what do you think it is? If they're the same number of protons as electrons, what do you suppose the charge is on that atom of magnesium? If you're thinking 0, you're right. They balance, okay? Now we're going to go down here towards the bottom, and we've got an oxygen. All right, this oxygen here, O, with an atomic number of 8. That means it has 8 protons. You go over here, the chart says it has 10 electrons. That's unusual. It has more electrons than protons. So it's going to have a negative charge. So I want you to think, if you have 10 electrons and only 8 protons, because it's oxygen, and it always has 8 protons if it's oxygen. If you have 10 electrons and 8 protons, what charge is on that ion? Think about it for a second. 10 electrons and 8 protons means a charge of -2. All right, so those are the tips. I think with what we've just talked about, with the atomic number, the mass number, using the periodic table, and calculating the charge with the difference between the electrons and the protons, I think you can finish out the chart. Tomorrow morning, I will post the 4th and final video, which has the rest of these spaces filled in so that you can know exactly what the answers are. And that'll help you prepare for tomorrow's quiz. Thanks, everybody.